Hi everyone, my name is Jaco Liebenberg. I'm the Marketing and Sales Automation Product Owner at MPULL. Welcome to the basic overview of what Marketing Automation is. Look forward to having you, and let me know if you've got any questions. Right, so first of all, what is marketing automation? Marketing automation is not email marketing. That's a very common misconception that's out there in the world. So let's have a look at what the actual explanation or definition is of marketing automation. So trusted resource, Wikipedia. So marketing automation refers to software platforms and technologies designed for marketing departments and organizations to more effectively market on multiple channels online, such as email, social media, websites, etc., and automate repetitive tasks. Now, in practice, that does not really take effect, and it's not hitting home. So marketing automation is a category of software, we know that. How it works is it does streamline, automates, and measures marketing tasks and workflows. And why does it exist? So companies can increase operational efficiency and achieve ROI. But in a more practical point, I think in our world it is, and I like to always explain it with a connection to a journey. So I feel it's a systematic and timeous communication along some kind of journey or workflow with a clear objective as the destination. So, but the key takeaway that we have to understand is it's so much more than just email. It's an effective way to communicate in a personalized and targeted way. There are multiple software vendors out there. We at MPULL specifically focus on HubSpot. We've got proficiencies in a few of the other ones as well, and we're exploring additional softwares to always keep us at the peak of our game and also deliver according to what our client requirements are. Elements or product services like Salesforce, Pardot, Autopilot, Infusionsoft, Marketo, Eloqua. These are really big guys, but what you also need to consider is what is your business requirements, because some of them might suit you better than others. The core benefits of marketing automation, it's an interesting one to discuss. I think the most important elements that you need to realize what marketing automation can deliver are those four top ones: the nurture of relationships, retain and extend customer relationships, build alignment with sales, and deliver marketing ROI. But once you look under the hood of those four benefits, you might actually discover way more than you actually first off anticipated. So to mention a few others, you will get a greater volume of leads. You will have better quality leads. You'll be able to reduce the cost per leads, and you'll drop fewer leads because you're nurturing in a very personalized and targeted way. There's naturally an increase of automation, so there's less manual steps, and that has a knock-on effect on resources, etc. Because of the measurement element of marketing automation, you will also get better insight to make better decisions and to actually persist with good activities in order to convert customers. And then one of the key elements that has also been discussed in previous training sessions is closed loop reporting. So it is imperative to understand how marketing automation and closed loop reporting work hand in hand. So marketing automation cannot function in isolation. It needs to know what happens on the sales side of things. It needs to know when a lead gets converted into a customer, and that happens through closed loop reporting. So what are the elements that makes up marketing automation? Naturally, email marketing would be in there. Other elements include workflows, landing pages. There's an element of campaign management. Lead scoring is another major element that makes up marketing automation. There's an element of lead management. There is CRM and CRM integration if you don't use the software's CRM system. There's an element of social media marketing, and you could be quite clever in using social media as part of your automation strategy, because what you can do with it is you could reiterate or emphasize a core message on just another channel where your audience might be. And that ties in very nicely to something that they may have received in their inbox, or something they may have read on the website, etc., and then seeing it on another channel. Paid media advertising can also work wonders in that regard. So you could create a remarketing campaign to again reiterate the message that you're pushing on your main journey. And then, of course, marketing analytics, and that's where the measurements and key metrics plays a part. So the beauty of marketing automation is it takes marketing into a very scientific sphere. So you are able to actually make data-driven decisions and actually fine-tune your marketing campaigns accordingly. So what can it be used for? So tying it with the misconception that I stated in the first slide about everybody thinks marketing automation is purely just email marketing. That's a result of something I like to call reactive automation. So what many people use this wonderful software or methodology is they use it to react on something that downloading an ebook or grabbing a conversion asset of sorts or filling in a form, and then that triggers a journey after that. So it's really just nurturing and being reactive. But I feel something like a proactive automation strategy is actually something that hasn't been explored that greatly yet, and that's where you actually take your message and your journey to the audience, and then using supporting tools to reiterate your message, such as social media or remarketing advertising. So imagine for a second that you've got a large database, and it might be a dormant database. Now imagine taking your message and your journey that you designed and you take it to them, instead of waiting for them to actually complete a trial or fill out a form, download an ebook, etc., and being reactive in that way. So there's a variety of different campaigns and strategies that can be employed using marketing automation. So something like welcome campaigns, so you can automate the welcome message when somebody contacts you or subscribes to your blog, etc., etc. You could use it to qualify leads, introduce trials, convert leads along the buyer journeys, which is probably the most common strategy that's being followed across the world. Onboarding new customers. So again, there's an interesting kind of staff contingent that you can imagine there. So in previous times, you might have had 3 or 4 or 5 staff members taking a customer through an onboarding process. Now that entire educational process can actually be automated using something like a HubSpot. Advanced newsletters could be another strategy could be employed. And what I mean with advanced newsletters is the standard newsletter approach is really just kind of blasting what you feel is good content to your audience. But advanced newsletters takes a form of, it takes into account personalization, it takes account behavior of your specific users, and it also actually delivers targeted content. So content that they will actually want to engage with based on previous behavioral traits. Event management and the marketing of events could be very well utilized. CRM database marketing, cross and upsell journeys, new and existing products could be used in that regard. And then, of course, targeting customers across multiple channels. So marketing automation, as mentioned, has a variety of elements that makes it tick. So you are able to actually take your message to a few different channels and ensure that it hits home to your audience. So as I mentioned previously as well, the measurement metrics or the measurement element of marketing automation is fundamental to its success, actually. So marketing automation is able to actually indicate performance and show how it's doing at every step of the way. So there's a few elements that you need to consider that can be measured, and these are really just a few. There are plenty of other items that you can include here, but a couple of things that I think works very well is a number of leads created from a specific campaign or even just from a specific journey. Campaign conversion rates is also important, because what you need to consider here is, remember, you're trying to drive them to a specific destination or achieve a specific objective. So that conversion rate will calculate how successfully you are doing that. Product activation rates is something that works very well. Email click rates, revenue generated from campaigns. So there's always some kind of money involved. So you would be able to actually start tracking how much revenue is coming from a specific journey. For events, you can look at registrant attendance, open rates of emails, new product adoption rate. Closed loop reporting could also be a form of measuring success. So how many customers that I managed to convert on a specific campaign. CRM integration is actually, it's a line item that's imperative for success, because you need to, like I mentioned, you need to close that loop. So closed loop reporting and CRM integration work hand in hand. Now, the key takeaway that you also need to consider here is each scenario, each campaign will be different. It will have a different success metric, but you must always strive to make that goal measurable, and there must be a statistic that you can chase. This is a very much scientific approach that you take. So what are the common challenges associated to marketing automation? So as I mentioned in my first slide, overcoming that misconception. If everybody is thinking that marketing automation is purely just email marketing, you're going to use it as an email marketing function. So you're not necessarily going to expand towards multiple channels. You're not going to understand how to track behavior and plan for specific objectives in your campaign. So getting over that initial thought is a major challenge, but it has to happen. Another thing that you always need to keep in mind is workflows and complicated workflows can be quite tricky, and you can get lost in the world of designing workflows. You need to keep it simple as far as you possibly can. Naturally, there are going to be serious advanced workflows designed, taking into consideration every possible decision that your user can make and designing a path for that decision. But breaking it up into pieces, for instance, designing a positive flow where the user will basically do everything you want him to do. And then on the flip side, breaking it up into the other section where it's a negative flow. And then from there, you would be able to actually have natural spin-offs, logical decisions. And if you break it up into those kind of sections or similar sections, you would be able to actually maintain a good bird's eye view of what is happening in the workflow and designing it beforehand and then implementing it into the system. So I'm a big fan of the saying, too many cooks in the kitchen. What I mean with that is there needs to be a single or maybe two people, but there cannot be too many people in charge of marketing automation in terms of a campaign. Remember, what you also need to consider here is you're following a strategy, and that strategy can be a combination of people that contributed it, but somebody needs to take control of the design, of the setup, and of the management, so that there are one or two ideas and trains of thought that's being followed instead of a multitude of people, because every person is going to interpret a decision of a user differently. So you need to choose the best possible strategic person or people that can give that insight and then follow their advice. It's also quite possible to kind of almost get lost in everything. It's very possible to lose track of what's happening. But again, as I say, if you design something outside of a system beforehand and you have a blueprint, an architecture that you can fall back on, that is going to be your fail-safe. So literally just falling back onto that, making sure that those steps are still aligned and you're getting to the objective that you want to, that's going to actually help you out when you have those moments of panic. The last challenge that is often associated with marketing automation is because you are sending a multitude of communications throughout the journey, it could be deemed as spammy. And this is where your measurements and performance monitoring plays a huge role. So if you see a high unsubscribe rate on email 4 of a specific journey, consider changing the copy, the emails, the subject, etc., and just tweak it, because obviously people are deeming that as a spammy message. So you need to adapt it and make sure that it's less spammy. You are going to run the risk of getting people who are unsubscribing on specific journeys, but that's the nature of the game. If somebody is not ready to buy, if somebody has already made a purchase decision outside of the journey, then then you run the risk of them flagging it as spam. So those are the challenges associated to marketing automation. Let's just have a look at the kind of bigger picture of automation in general. So over the last 15 years, marketing automation has grown exponentially. Originally from a $225 million industry, now to a staggering $1.65 billion industry. And there's a beautiful graph here, or timeline, that shows the evolution and the growth of this industry. And as you can see, many of the big players entered the game. There was a big spike in around about 2006 where HubSpot, Marketo, and Pardot all launched. But what you need to consider is there was a start very early on. So in 1992, Unica, that were later purchased by IBM, were the originators of this concept. And looking at this picture, it really fills me with a sense of optimism, because the world is moving towards this way of doing business, or this way of marketing, and it's really up to you to actually understand the software and implement it correctly, and then you would also be able to reap the benefits of it. This is a Dell, a very recent project that we did with Dell. You can scan through and you can read that. It was pure marketing automation. They came to us and said, listen, we've got a dormant database. We want to take a product or a few products into that database. What's the best way you can do it for us? And we designed a journey, and we took all those users on a journey, and the result speaks for itself. So that's it from my side. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it valuable. Please give me some feedback. You can drop me an email. You can tweet at me. But before you go, I would like you to actually go to the URL that's displaying on the screen now. So it's just office.mpull.com/academy marketing automation basics, and go do the test. It's just a couple of high-level questions about the points that I mentioned in the presentation. And I think if you go through this test, you'll realize that, you know what, I understand marketing automation, and I'm ready to take the next step, and I'm ready to implement this, or start playing around with it, or even go as far as designing a strategy using this solution. So that's it from me. Till next time, ciao.